Welcome to my last wrap up for 2025, my December wrap up. This is the vlog where I tell you which books I've hauled in the month of December, which books I've read, and which books I will be unhauling now after the month. So let's start with the books that I've hauled. 8 books in total, 1 ebook, 7 physical books. Let's start with the ebook. I got it over Kindle Unlimited. It is That One Night by Emily Rath, the prequel novella to Packing Around, which is already on my TBR since November. And I wanted to start the series now in January, so of course I got the novella to start with because I want to read in chronological order. The title suggests this is getting spicy and it will set everything up for the upcoming novel Packing Around that I will read right after That One Night. So let's see if I will like it. My guess is yes, I will like the series very much because I am a fan of ice hockey romances and I am also a fan of White Shoes. I don't know if That One Night is already White Shoes, but I know Packing Around is. So let's see, and probably I can tell you more in my first wrap up for 2026. The first book I got was not planned. I found it in a little free library near me, and it was a book that I had on my wish list for a while now. It is Der Anschlag by Stephen King. I think the English title is 11/22/33, and this will be my first Stephen King ever. And I don't know if I'm interested to read more because I only got this one because I'm interested in the topic of the story, not in Stephen King itself. Because this story is about the death of John F. Kennedy and how he got shot on 11/22/63, which explains the title. And I can't say if I will like it, if I don't like it. I have really no idea. I just know I'm interested in the topic. And I think we will see at some point in 2026 if I will like Stephen King's writing and if I'm interested to read more of him. Next, I got 2 review copies by a German publisher, by the Adrian Verlag. One I knew about, and that is one of my most anticipated releases of 2025, and one that was a surprise. The first one is the second book of the Hierarchy series by James Islington. This is The Strength of the Few. Book 1, The Will of the Many, was one of my highlights of 2025. And my hopes are high for the second book in the series. As you might can see, I'm already reading the book and I'm over halfway through it. But I won't tell you anything here. You have to wait for my next final chapter vlog, which should be up 2 weeks after this video. So stay tuned. And maybe this is my first 5-star read of the new year. And the surprise review copy is also a fantasy book. It is The Sword of Kaigan by Emil Wang, my second book by this author. I already read Blood Over Bright Haven by her and really liked it. I read it last year, so also in 2025. And I think I gave it 5 stars. So again, my hopes are high here. I predict a lot of social criticism, which we already had in Blood Over Bright Haven, and I'm a big fan of that. I'm not the biggest fan of war stories, so let's see how this goes. And I will also tell you in one of my vlogs that will come soon because I'm also already reading the book and plan to finish this in January. And last but not least, we have the 4 books I got on Christmas from my parents. I told them in advance which books I wanted, and they got them for me. The first one is the second book in a duology that I haven't started yet, but I plan to read in 2026. The first book is Divine Rivals, the second one, Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I know this series is super hyped, and I'm interested to see if I will like the books because sometimes I don't like the books that are super hyped. And I need to ask myself if I read a different book than everybody else, which is okay. Opinions are different, tastes are different. But I will try this series. And I will also try this series. This is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I think the series is also called The Bone Season. And this is the rewritten version. I think she published book 1 to 5 before and then started rewriting them because she wasn't very satisfied with the result. So she wanted to do her best for the first books in the series before she continued writing this series. I don't know much about it. I've read the synopsis a few months ago when I was in Munich, so in September. And the only thing I remember at this point is that this is not high fantasy as I expected. It is more sci fi and based on superheroes or something like that. So that intrigued me enough to get this on Christmas, and I can't wait to read it, hopefully in 2026. Okay, 2 books left. The first one is a classic or modern classic. I'm not sure here. But I set this on my wish list after I've read Alchemized. And I wanted to know the source material that inspired Alchemized, apart from the Harry Potter series. It is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I think this will be a tough read with super heavy topics, but I'm in for it. I will take my time with it, and I also plan to read this in 2026. And the last book I've got is a book that I saw on the British NetGalley version. And the synopsis really intrigued me, so I set it on my wish list. It is People Pleaser by Catriona Stewart. And I'm reading the synopsis here for you, so you know what I'm talking about. When Kansas sweetheart Maggie Lathrop is crowned the winner of America's most popular dating show, her life is transformed overnight. Suddenly, Maggie has it all: a gorgeous husband, an immaculate Los Angeles mansion, and an entourage of glamorous friends. Despite picture perfect appearances, the world Maggie has created is shattered after she found murdered in a desolate warehouse. As her sister, Emma, attempts to uncover the truth of Maggie's life, a deadlier side to Hollywood is revealed. And I'm really intrigued and interested to read about this deadlier and darker side of Hollywood. So that's it, all the books that I've hauled. So let's see how much I've read. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I've read more than this. because, as always, it is my goal to reduce my TBR, and it can get difficult for December when I see how many and how thick books I've hauled. The first book that I want to talk about was an ebook and a reread. It is Immortal by J.R. Ward, the sixth and final book of the Fallen Angel series. Yes, I'm finally done with my rereads of the Black Dagger universe. This was the last one, and I cringed myself away reading the love story of the last book in the series. Because, no, absolutely not. She is way too young for him. It is super problematic because if I understand everything correctly in the first book, then she is not even 18 or barely 18 and he is in his mid 30s. So, reading about these characters and how they are lusting about each other, no, no, absolutely not. But I'm a really big fan of the plot of book six. It was super unpredictable, it was super different than the plots in book one to five, which I really liked and enjoyed. And I am happy with the ending of the series. I knew before I started Immortal how it would end because, as I said, the whole series was a reread. But at this point, I'm just glad that I'm done with the series and that I can continue now with other books from this universe, which I will talk about later in this vlog. So let's talk about this 700-page book. It is book 5 of the Dungeon Crawler Car series by Matt Dinneman, The Butcher's Masquerade. I was supposed to read this in November, but I haven't had the time, like one of my other buddy read partners. So everybody agreed that they take a break for December from the series. So Nikki and I could catch up, and I did. I really liked this book. And I really like the more story based floors of this dungeon, like floor 3 and floor 6 now. I'm still enjoying the characters like Carl and Princess Donut. I like the humor of the series. I like the action. I like that it is always unpredictable in some ways and that it can surprise me, which this book did in the end. So I can't wait to continue now in January with book 6 and to see if I will also like this very much. Here we have two books you saw on my TBR for months now, and I finally did it. I finished Zodiac Academy book 8 and 8.5. I did a tandem read here because these stories intertwine, and I'm really glad that I decided to do this as a tandem read because after I've read book 8, I would have had no motivation to read this book. Let's be honest. But I really liked how the story continued in book 8 and 8.5. I liked that we had new perspectives with Beyond the Veil. I hated the Lionel chapters as always in Sorrow and Starlight. But I really love that they are all moving closer together, that they almost get from friends to becoming a family, that they start to support each other, and that especially our female main characters, Tori and Darcy, are getting more comfortable with their position in society and with their powers. You can really see that they are getting more secure, that they are willing to risk more to save their friends. And now I can't wait to see how it all will end. I have two books left now of the Zodiac Academy series. The first one is an anthology. It is called Live and Let Lionel, and it is a bunch of short stories and new bonus POVs, two chapters we already had in former books. So I will read that before I read the final book, Restless Stars, and finish the whole series. After that, I tried to work on the last books of my 25 for 2025 list. This was the first book that I read from this list in December. It is called In unserem Universum sind wir unendlich, and it is written by Sarah Sprinz. She's a German author, and this book is only available in German, so I won't spend much time talking about it here. The vlog with this book is already out, the last 25 for 2025 vlog. So you can watch that if you want to know more. But I can tell you here that this is a super sad coming of age story with a sad ending. So I cried a lot here, but I really liked the story and the book. So I'm very happy that I've finally read it. And I've not only continued series, I also finished one. The Six of Crows duology with Crooked Kingdom. This is the German edition, Das Gold der Krähen, written by Lee Bardugo. And I already said this in the vlog where this book is talked about, that I don't understand the big hype of the series, but I liked book 2 more than book 1, especially because we got more depth for a lot of the characters. And I'm very glad that I've read this duology now, and I will continue the Grishaverse this year in 2026 now with King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. Another book from my 25 for 2025 list was this one, The Passengers by John Mars. This is a science thriller, and it is set around self-driving cars and AI. So a few self-driving cars are hacked and the passengers are getting kidnapped. And the hackers make all of this public. You can see it on every screen. And this book discusses a lot of morality around using AI for self-driving cars, etc. I really liked this book. It was super entertaining. I'm not super happy with the ending. You can see why in my last 25 for 2025 vlog. But I'm glad that I've read it now. And maybe I will buy The Watchers now in 2026, which is the next book from John Mars that I want to read. And I'd love to see if this is also connected with The Passengers and The One, because The One was also a side topic in The Passengers, and I'm a big fan of these Easter eggs. We are getting closer here to have read more than I've hauled, and gladly I have a few books left. One of them is A Castle So Cruel by Lisa Yasmina. She's a friend of mine, and I've worked with her on book 1 of this duology last year in fall. It is called A Forest So Dark, and these books are also only available in German, but I'm really loving these books and the sprayed edges here. I hope you can see it and it will focus. The camera is too far away to see for me, but I finished this duology now in December. I am really liking this fantasy story with dark elements, and I'm really proud of Lisa and can't wait to read more of her. Okay, okay, we almost did it. These are the last books that I've read, and I promised you that we will talk more about the Black Dagger Brotherhood series or the Black Dagger universe. These are The King Part 2 and The Shadows Part 1 and 2. So I don't know if I did the math right, but this should be book 13 and 14 of the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. And honestly, I'm very okay with DNFing this series at this point, and with that, the Black Dagger universe, because the last book I've read in this series weren't that good. And yes, there was potential in these books and parts I really liked and enjoyed, but there were also a lot of things that annoyed me and made me angry. One of them is miscommunication, which is a big point in the stories, and I hate it. So, the one thing I know at this point is that I'm taking a break from the Black Dagger universe in January because Maron, my buddy read partner, needs to catch up. I had to hurry a bit in November and December, which is also why I've read 4 books of this universe in December, because I wanted to complete my 25 for 2025 books. I wanted to complete this challenge, and I did. Yay! I'm very proud of myself because I'm always using this challenge to work on my old TBR books that I've neglected for years. And a lot of the Black Dagger books that I haven't read before were on my TBR since 2015, so for 10 years. And I finally read them all. I have no more books from this universe on my TBR, which is another point why I would be okay with DNFing the series now. But I will wait for my buddy read partner to catch up, and then we will discuss together if we will continue or not. I just know I definitely needed the break now, and we will see what the future brings here. So, these are all the books that I've read, and you can see this stack is bigger than this one. I've completed my challenge here. I've read more than I've hauled. So I am satisfied by this result. But we have one thing left for this vlog, and that is to decide if I want to unhaul any of these books after I've read them now. And yes, I will unhaul 2 of them. Let me pick them. Hier we have them. Crooked Kingdom and In unserem Universum sind wir unendlich. Let's talk about Crooked Kingdom first. I enjoyed reading this book, don't get me wrong, but this is not my copy. This belongs to a friend of mine and I need to give it back to her, which is why I'm unhauling it. I'm giving it back. And then we have In unserem Universum sind wir unendlich. I really liked this book and enjoyed my time with it, but I know I won't read it again, so I will put it in a little free library, and this will get a new home and can be enjoyed by somebody else. And yes, I also haven't really enjoyed the last Black Dagger books here, but I will keep them for now, especially because at this point I'm not willing to unhaul the whole series, especially for nostalgia reasons. So I will keep them for now. Maybe I'm ready to unhaul them sometime in the future. We will see about that. But for now, that's it. Please tell me in the comments what was your favorite read of December or of the whole year of 2025. What are your most anticipated releases of 2026? Like this video if you wanna, follow my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!